Ding! Let's try this again. Earlier, I was trying to do this when I was bright and fresh this morning time, but it said that no storage was in my. Well, I had low storage in my phone, so I deleted some things. And hey, this is Tamika's face. I mean, Yahoo page. Is that right? No, my YouTube. Oh my gosh. Hey y'all. My name is Tamika, and you can follow me on my Facebook at Tamika Collins. You can follow me on my TikTok at Coffee, COFEPH, or my TikTok, which is Coffee Sings, COFEPH, SINGS, all one word. We are reading the Bible these, on some of these videos anyway. And we are in Genesis chapter 34. So, we got to recap. So, let's recap. Jacob is on his way back to his homeland and is sending gifts to Esau because him and Esau, had some falling out because Jacob took his birthright and, the blessings from his father. So he on his way back, but he is sending gifts ahead of him for a truce so that Esau won't kill him. Saying, had no bad blood with him or whatnot. He hears from his messengers that Esau is on his way with 400 of his men. Jacob divides his wealth and his family just so all is not lost if and when they meet up face to face, and Esau, still has some tension going on. And they decide to seize everything or kill everything, whatever. He doesn't know what's going on. Jacob wrestles with God and is touched in the side, and his name's Israel. Jacob and Esau meet, and Esau greets him with a kiss and a hug and love for his brother. Jacob, who's now Israel, tells Esau, hey, I'm giving you these things as a truce. Esau doesn't want them. He's like, hey, you can keep your things, but Jacob insists. Israel insists, and so Esau does finally accept his gifts and leaves in peace. Okay, so we're there, and we are in chapter 34, and it reads as such. Okay. One day, Dinah, the daughter of Jacob and Leah, went to visit some of the young men who lived in the area. But when the local prince Shechem, son of Hamor, the Hivite, saw Dinah, he seized her and raped her. It might be Dinah, I don't know. But then he fell in love with her, and he tried to win her affection with tender words. He said to his father, Hamor, get me this young girl. I want to marry her. Soon Jacob heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah, but since his sons were out in the field herding his livestock, he said nothing until they returned. Hamor, Shechem's father, came to discuss the matter with Jacob. Meanwhile, Jacob's sons had come in from the field as soon as they heard what had happened. They were shocked and furious that their sister had been raped. Shechem had done a disgraceful thing against Jacob's family, something that should not have been done. Hamor tried to speak with Jacob and his sons. My son Shechem is truly in love with your daughter, he said. Please let him marry her. In fact, let's arrange their marriages too. You give us your daughters for our sons, and we will give you our daughters for your sons, and you may live among us. The land is open to you. Settle here and trade with us, and feel free to buy property in the area. Then Shechem himself spoke to Dinah's father and brothers. Please be kind to me and let me marry her, he begged. I will give you whatever you ask, no matter what dowry or gift you demand. I will gladly pay it. Just give me your girl. Just give me the girl as my wife. But since Shechem had defiled his sister Dinah, Jacob's sons responded deceitfully to Shechem and his father Hamor. They said to them, we couldn't possibly allow this because you're not circumcised. It will be a disgrace for your sister to marry a man like you. But here's the solution. If every man among you will be circumcised like we are, Then we will give you our daughters, and we'll take your daughters out for ourselves. We will live among you and become one people. But if you don't agree to be circumcised, we will take her and be on our way. Hamor and his son Shechem agreed to their proposal. Shechem wasted no time in acting on this request, for he wanted Jacob's daughter desperately. Shechem was a highly respected member of his family, and he went with his father Hamor to present this proposal to the leaders at the town gate. These men are our friends, they said. Let's invite them to live here among us and trade freely. Look, the land is large enough to hold them. We can take their daughters as wives and let them marry ours. But they will consider staying here and becoming our one people with us only if all of our men are circumcised just as they are. But if we do this, all their livestock and possessions will eventually be ours. Come, let's agree to their terms and let them settle here among us. So all the men in their town council agreed with Hamor and Shechem, and every male in the town was circumcised. But 3 days later, when their wounds were still sore, two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, were Dinah's full brothers, took their swords and entered the town without opposition. Then they slaughtered every male there, including Hamor and his son Shechem. They killed them with their swords, then took took Dinah from Shechem's house and returned her to their camp. Meanwhile, the rest of Jacob's sons arrived. Finding the men slaughtered, they plundered the town because their sister had been defiled there. They seized all the flocks and herds and donkeys, everything they could lay their hands on, both inside the town and outside in the fields. They looted all their wealth and plundered their houses. They also took all their little children and wives and led them away as captives. Afterward, Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have ruined me. You've made me stink among all the people of this land, among all the Canaanites and Perizzites. We are so few that they will join forces and crush us. I will be ruined, and my entire household will be wiped out. But why should we let them treat our sister like a prostitute?" They retorted angrily. Upset, I'm sure. I know. Okay, let's see. We on chapter 35. Jacob returns to Bethel. Then God said to Jacob, let's see who we're working with here. Get ready and move to Bethel and stay there. Build an altar there to God who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau. So Jacob told everyone in the household, get rid of all your pagan gods, purify yourselves, and put on clean clothing. We are now going to Bethel, where I will build an altar to God who answered my prayers when I was in distress. He has been with me wherever I have gone. So they gave Jacob all their pagan idols and earrings and buried them under the great tree near Shechem. As they set out, a terror from God spread over the people in the towns of the area, so no one attacked Jacob's family. Eventually, Jacob and his household arrived at Luz, also called Bethel, in Canaan. Jacob built an altar there and named the place El Bethel, which means God of Bethel, because God had appeared to him there when he was fleeing from his brother Esau. Soon after this, Rebekah's old nurse Deborah died. She was buried beneath the oak tree in the valley below Bethel. Ever since, the tree has been called Elon Bakuth, which means oak of weeping. Now that Jacob returned to Padam Aram, God appeared to him again at Bethel. God blessed him, saying, "Your name is Jacob, but you will not be called Jacob any longer. From now on, your name will be Israel." So God renamed him Israel. Then God said, "I am El Shaddai, God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. You will become a great nation, even among nations. Kings will be among your descendants, and I will give you in the land I once gave to Abraham and Isaac. Yes, I will give it to you and your descendants after you." Then God went up from the place where he had spoken to Jacob. Jacob set up a stone pillar to mark the place where God had spoken to him. Then he poured wine over it as an offering to God and anointed the pillar with olive oil. And Jacob named the place Bethel, which means house of God, because God had spoken to him there. Leaving Bethel, Jacob and his clan moved on toward Ephrath. But Rachel went into labor while they were still some distance. Her labor pains were intense. After a very hard labor, the midwife finally exclaimed, "Don't be afraid, you have another son." Rachel was about to die, but with her last breath, she named the baby Ben-Oni, which means son of my sorrow. The baby's father, however, called him Benjamin, which means son of my right hand. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. Jacob set up a stone monument over Rachel's grave, and it has been there ever since that day. Then Jacob traveled on and camped beyond Migdal Elder. While he was living there, Reuben had intercourse with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Jacob soon heard about it. These are the names of the sons of Jacob. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's oldest son, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bela, Rachel's servants, was Dan and Naphtali. The sons of Zilpah, Leah's servant, were Gad and Asher. These are the names of the sons who were born to Jacob at Paddan Aram. So Jacob returned to his father Isaac in Mamre, which is near Kiriatharba, now called Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had both lived as foreigners. Isaac lived for 180 years. Then he breathed his last breath and died at a ripe old age, joining his ancestors in death, and his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. Amen. Ooh, they're talking about a ripe age of 180 years old. A ripe age? Wow. That's a beautiful thing. But yeah. Y'all enjoying yourself? Hey, this meat is good from beginning to the end. We are almost done with Genesis, and we will be exiting into Exodus. You like that, right? Exodus, exiting Genesis. Okay. So thank you so much for rocking with me. I'm going to end this on that note. I hope y'all had a wonderful day. Today is Sunday at this moment, and we had a wonderful time at church. So, I had to get a little doozied up, of course. But thank y'all so much again for rocking with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day and continue to stay blessed in the Lord. Okay. All right. Peace.